bloody early. I'm really tired, and although it's very likely I've had no sleep, I've pulled up my culinary trousers, I've pulled up my culinary socks. So it's Monday today, and you'd think, well, he might as well stay in bed all day. He's had a bit of a tough week, but actually I won't. I'll cook. I'm going to cook today. Nonoko's coming. I'll be cooking a few things for him later. I've walked to work. The walk to work is really nice. It's been raining and it's windy and it's blowing, and it's a bit like the road to Santiago, I suppose, or the Caminos of Menorca. It's not that I really rather enjoy the struggle of self-sacrifice or intolerable burdens at times and me and my little crown has to offer. The most part of the kitchen is fun and full of humour, struggle, strain, danger and possibly even death at times. Yeah, I felt like I'm dying sometimes, but I do love it. And it's a lifestyle. And it can't be anything but. I'm the guardian of the little crown, and I create memorable experience for guests forever and ever and ever. The awards we have won: top 30 UK restaurants, Michelin-star, 3 AA rosettes. Don't accept 40 hours a week, accept 1,000. And enjoy those hours, and as you enjoy the tiredness as it seeps into your skin, it will then seep into your soul. And once it's in your soul, it will rise up into your heart. And once it's in your heart, you can't fail to do a good job. Even your worst job will be better than somebody's good job. Your 1,000 hour week will pay off if you really love it, if you're obsessed, if you're passionate, if you want it. But you gotta want it. I wanted it. I wanted the cuts. I wanted the salt in the walls. I wanted the burns, the mistakes, because that's what they are, of course. I wanted the tiredness. Not enough time to look in the mirror to not even know what you look like. That's hard work. You get up, you pull on one sock, you pull on the other sock, and you think, wow, let's pull on my culinary trousers. And you whack those little babies on, and you hop to work, and you do the best you can. When I started the Crown, we didn't have any money. We still ain't got any money. I'm always saying that. We're rich. We've got a really lovely family. We've got a really lovely extended family, but we've still got no money. But we're going to have loads of money one day. We'll have money. Perhaps I'll own a car. I don't know. But when we started, I obviously needed some things, some knickknacks and trinkets for round and about. So I did all the paintings. Just thought, oh, bloody hell, look, the walls are bare. So I painted very, very fast. And then just on canvases and whatever in oil. I didn't realise the oil would take so long to dry. So it's funny enough, they're still wet, some of the pictures that are hanging on the walls in the dining room. And I thought I'd let you know that. Yeah, I painted them and cleaned and scrubbed 10 inches of grease from the floor when we arrived. As a chef, I've learned it's not just the food, but it's the family and the warmth and the love they give when the customers arrive. The cheese board has to be right and smelly, and the smell of the pub has to be right. It has to be onions and shallots, and then there has to be my fleur de panache, which I mentioned before. Because, you know, people have to really feel underneath the warmth a really clean determination, and that sweat and toil, the arduous grind of cooking alone. It's nice the children come up and help out. So George runs the place, and he does that really stylishly in his own way. I rely on George 100%. He's our brick, he's our face of the crown. India, she's amazing. What she does bring is a demure kindness and a sensitivity, and she can read people really well. Charlie helps me out in the kitchen when he's not working in France and New York, and is incredible. And at 19, I think he's going to be a real star of a chef. Florence, when she works, it's nice because it brings a nice young feel and laughter and happiness. And then there's Billy. I love Billy. Yeah, he brings a nice sort of to it all. That's Billy. Deborah. The life I live is the life I love, and the life I love is hers. 1990, and she had brown skin and blue eyes, dancing around. I thought, oh, I know you. And little did I know, she'd had a sneaky peek at me, and she thought, oh, I know him, but she didn't, and I didn't know her. But when we spoke, it was like, ooh, we know each other. We'd have been married 30 years this year. Long time, eh? In catering, hospitality. Yes, I just can't leave Deborah alone. She can't leave me alone. We love each other like yesterday. So, secret to a long marriage is basically not knowing you're married and having children, not realising you're having children. In fact, not really realising very much at all, other than going to work and cooking and having a really nice couple of days off a week and eating great food and being around, being really childish and really babyish. That's what I like doing. She's my kindred spirit, my soulmate. Then we never stop talking, and even now when I see her when I get home, we'll just keep talking. And we'll just talk. And that's what we still do. Deborah's really good at living in the now. And even though there have been rough seas and choppy seas, like when I bought pubs that I shouldn't have got involved in, and they went to the wall and we lost loads of money, we went through all that with ease. We sailed through it. Deborah's pretty wonderful, because the life I live is the life I love, and the life I love is hers. And you'd think it's all about me being here. It's not, I'm here for her. Otherwise she can't live. I knew her, she knew me, but we didn't know each other when we first met. So it was a funny thing. So the Crown is a great place because it provides pocket money. It provides so much for so many different little details and things. But what does it do for me? Well, I'm a selfish old bastard and I love cooking. And cooking is my life. But not quite as much as Deborah and the children, of course. They come first. But then cooking and gastronomy, haute cuisine, bourgeois cuisine, pub cuisine, are my interests and my love. Nonoko's coming. Yeah, I used to just cook solely for him. He's not married, doesn't have a family or anything like that. And of course, when you work in private service, you sign confidentiality clauses. But he's been amazing, and he's actually coming for probably his third time in 8 years in the Crown. And he likes to be in the cellar. He doesn't want to be in the restaurant or the dining room because he doesn't want to be seen through the windows. He's reclusive, I guess. Discreet. Yeah, he's discreet and unique.
I've got Nonoko's order, Dad.
Okay.
So he's in the cellar. Liver, tempura, and the Rothschild dish you can't pronounce.
Chicken boudin.
Chicken bois boudin.
Yeah. Right. Okay. I'll get on with it. Here we go then. Thanks, George. So, because it's Monday, tea. Must have tea. I love coffee, but on Mondays I drink tea. Oh, tea. Love you, tea. That's tea. Why would you be without tea? Right. What we got here is a little bit of liver. Can be controversial, but it's what he likes. I'm going to add a big dollop of fat to that, even though it's already super fatty. I got it on 7. We need 6, 9, and then we need 3. Where's 3? Doesn't go there. What a liar. It's sensitive, needs a little bit more heat. We're going to whack up the heat. Look at all that frothing butter. Now that is very, very raunchy situation in a pan. A raunchy situation. Okay. Très joli. Bit more salt. You can't overcook this because all of a sudden all the lovely fat that's inside it will go, and we don't want that to happen. We want it to stay firm to the touch. And it's telling me, what are you saying? Yeah, get me out. All right, out, drain. What I have here is something called paysanne lentils. So they're puy lentils from France, and they're very, very tiny, and they've been dried, and I've cooked them for an hour and a half without any salt. And then I've added a mirepoix of vegetables, not too much, because I don't want it all sweet, I want to keep it earthy and savoury. Now I'm going to add my lentils to the pan. Now remember, this isn't necessarily always what I would cook, the way I would do it, but when you're in private service, which led to the crown, to be able to do the crown, to have my freedom, you have to do what they say, and to do what they want. Now, as you can see, this is a dish that George is going to take away down to the cellar in about 3 minutes. I'm going to call him with my trusty bell. Woo! Okay, so we turn that off now. These are the lentils, the paysanne lentils, cooked for an hour without any salt. Then I've added aromatic brunoise of vegetables with little chives. That's going to sit on there. Ooh, that's hot. Alright, this is the first dish to go. Purely for the love of God. I'm going to glaze it up with a sticky little bit of duck sauce. And that's liquid bones.
Today we're going to be making a variation of a Vespa Martini for Nanoku. We've got a Japanese gin we're using today, some traditional vodka and white wine vermouth lillet. So firstly, the thing to do is get your glass ready for action. We're just going to add some ice to it and get it cold. Ice and water there. We're just going to leave that on the side for now while the glass gets cold, almost frosty. The second step is to put ice in the shaker and cover with lillet. Nanoku likes 25 ml of lillet poured over the ice. Some people like to leave some lillet in, some people like 15 ml of lillet. This is how he likes it. And I'm just going to stir that. I'm just going to stir this around gently so that the vermouth has completely covered the ice. The next step is to strain the vermouth or the lillet off of the ice. So I'm just going to pour that away, literally, wastage. What we're left with is vermouth soaked ice. This has taken on a decent amount of the vermouth and come through in the drink. Nanoku likes a mix of 50% gin to 50% vodka. That's called like a Vespa Martini traditionally. So with 15 ml of this gin, we just add it to it. And we do the same with the vodka. Now some people like this stirred. Traditionally it's supposed to be stirred, obviously the traditional recipe, but Nanoku likes it shaken. Same as James Bond. Shaker in, give it a good old hit. You can garnish this with olive or lemon. I choose to use lemon because that's what Nanoku wants. And Nanoku's martini ready for serving.
Nonoko only eats French poultry, and that's what he likes, that's what he has. So when he comes to the Crown and he eats down there in the cellar, on his own, in the dark, maybe with a few candles, I don't know, George sorts it all out, or India, or usually George, Nonoko, and I prepare this chicken for him, and the chicken is really, really simple. It's a Rothschild dish, and it's basically blitzed tomato compote, which once it's blitzed, it looks like this, like a little ketchup. Well, it is a ketchup. So what we do is we put some of that in there like that. Dijon mustard. You know, nice Dijon mustard. And then what we do then is we do a wee whiskey. And this is the Bois Boudrin, or Boudrin, the Bois Boudrin from the Rothschild estate. Basically, the Roux brothers arrived in London in the 60s, and they'd been cooking for the Rothschilds privately. And Madame Rothschild used to eat somewhere in the Bois Boudrin, which was a woods at the bottom of her lovely garden in her estate. This kind of barbecued chicken, but there's no smokiness about it whatsoever. I don't like smoke in my food. So at the Crown pub you will never really find anything smoked. And in contradiction to that, you might find smoked dills, smoked dills. They're very good. So you whisk the tomato compote, which is basically sweet and sour, so it suits Nonoko very, very nicely. It's the kind of thing he loves. But it's French, and that's what he really likes. He likes sophistication. So, oh, a bit noisy. Got to add some sherry vinegar. Not too much. This is an aged one, aged sherry vinegar. Really, really nice. And I'm going to add some neutral oil, just a little bit of oil. No point in any fancy oil because you're never going to taste it in this really, really strong, vibrant, sharp, piquant sauce. I'm just going to set that aside a bit. We don't need that till later now. We've got to prepare his chicken. That's what we've got to do. And I've already started because otherwise we'd be here all day, and I don't want to be here all day on my day off. But for Nonoko, we'll be here all day, no problem at all. So we're here, and these are the tools you need. You need a little tiny little hacksaw. You need a barding needle, but I'm not barding today. I'm just using the point. I'm just using the point, and I've got my little fish tweezers, which I'm not going to use for the fish, surprisingly enough. I'm going to grab some sinew in the chicken thigh with those. Basically, what I did was I took a whole chicken, I whipped off the bone and the carcass, and I put it all in here, in this stock pot, and I then cleaned my bone in the manner of the larder chef, so that it will sit up when we put it on Nonoko's dish. And here, I've dug out the bone, all the blood and the marrow, I've dug it out. There shouldn't be any left, there is a little bit. The reason we do that is because when that gets hot in that stock later on, that will all bubble inside there and spew over the top. It will spew over the top and look very, very unpleasant. Nonoko is clean. He wants it clean. He does not want it dirty. He doesn't want his food dirty. He doesn't want me dirty. Hence the apron and the lack of weight. Ta-da! And I've got my fleur de panache on, which is leather, smoke, burnt oranges, clementine, and of course violets, because I love smelling of violets. Now, a bit of very, very clever surgical precision slice. Now you'd think I'd put that thick bit in there, but why would I do that when it's already thick there? This is going to be cooked later than this bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this stick bit down here, so it becomes the same thickness. Ta-da! Nothing rocket scientist about it. All you chefs know it, but I don't know. What about all you housewives at home? I don't know. I've already cheated and started because, like I said, it's my day off and I don't want to be here all day, even though I love cooking and everything else. I'm going to put the Noko's chicken into the stock. That's going to sit there nicely. Very, very simple honey. No fuss about it. You don't want to be using honey that, you know, costs super amounts, manuka and all that malarkey. No matter how much lovely that is. I love honey. In fact, I'm like Winnie the Pooh sometimes. I just have a pot at home that I put my thumb in. And it's my pot, so no one else puts their thumb in it. And I just eat it like that, especially at bedtime after work, because I need a sugar because I'm dashing around quite a bit. I pop those little babies into the oven. This chicken fat is going to become schmaltz. Ooh, schmaltzy. And it's going to shrivel up the sides, but that doesn't matter. In they go. I'll put them on the bottom. See that? 69, everyone's favourite number. I was born in 69. On the bottom there, don't want them to be there too long because they'll catch because of that honey. So I'm going to raise them up a little bit in a minute. Turn the light on to keep my blind on. We're using the same pan that we cooked the liver in and the lentils, which we reheated through really rather nicely. And we've got to get some shallots in there. And this is for the bois bourguignon sauce. Now, I like circles. Some people like dice, but I like sliced circles. That's what I like for this dish. When shallots are cooking, you know, that's odd. I've got the wrong spoon in my hand. Here he is. Ah, that feels better. When we're cooking shallots, what I think about is all the great things about French cookery. It's not an onion, it's not a spring onion, very nice. Onions, lovely. But there's just something about the inherent sweetness, savoury savor of shallot, and I like that very much. And what I do love, as you realise by now, is lots of butter. That can go in there. We cook these, not too fast, don't overdo it, don't want to stretch them, want to cook them harmoniously. Love and care from the heart. That's what cooking is. When I'm cooking at home, which is very rare because Deborah's a great cook, I cook with them even more now. I go to a very strange place, another world, another universe. So, here are the shallots. And who doesn't want to smell of shallots when they get home at night? I still smell sweet. Yeah, I do. Don't I? Yeah. He's ready. I'm going to sit him up there, let him rest. What we really need to do is make sure our chicken thighs are super savoury. What I'm going to do is a nice little trick. I'm going a little bit of that duck stock to them, even though it's not chicken stock, because clearly our chicken stock's over there. Remember, thinking, smelling, listening, you know, I'm doing it all the senses are going. What I've got to do is I've got to add a little bit of this bois bourguignon, and this is what really makes it, I think. Once you heat this up, you've got to be really careful not for it to split out. So what I do is I use the residue heat in the pan, knock it off, and then I add what I call the mesclun. And this is a mixture of herbs, very common in a classical French kitchen, country kitchen. We're in the countryside, we're a pub in the countryside, so that's quite nice. This is flat leaf parsley, chervil, tarragon, chives, all bound up. Now you can do your own little melaskin if you want. A bit like the garam masala of the Indian homes, where they cook exactly the spices they want to go together and they particularly like. So they do cardamom and cumin and turmeric, or another house does cardamom, turmeric and saffron and coriander. Well, this here is the Bois Bourdrain sauce. Very much like a barbecue sauce without the smoke. So, what I need to do is deal with this chicken. A little bit of water. Look at that. I knew that was coming. I knew that was going to happen. But literally. Now, don't think for a moment this is freezing cold, because clearly it's been in hot chicken stock and everything else. It's just that I really like to suffer. Not like a monk who hits himself with a knotted rope or something like that. Look how clean that is. What we need to do is just get rid of any white bits. Soak that up. Clean my knife. Health and safety. So I've put it into the Bois Bourdrain sauce. And I'm now going to be quite liberal with it. And it's not my idea. Basically, it's a Rothschild favourite from when she used to picnic on the Bourdrain Woods, or however you say it. Slurper tea is important, just to remind yourself what you've got to do, because he's down there eating the liver. George will be back in a minute. Oh, I love tea. And I'll put it in the oven, which I've switched off with the legs. Look at them, they're lovely. But look at that. Now, when the gentleman eats them downstairs in the cellar, he doesn't get any mess on his hands. Do you see that? Isn't that nice? That all stays warm. I bring down another pan and I get that warm. Energy. Kitchens are all about energy and thought. Anticipation. It doesn't look very appetising, but I tell you, this is packed with flavour. It looks like the winter, it looks like autumn, and it smells like autumn. And what I'm going to do is just lift the breast out for him nicely, put it in there like that, with the bone sticking up all nice and clean. Well, I'm not going to overdo that because it's really strong. Hot Gossip, they used to dance on top of the pops with their legs. I think these are nicer than their legs. All my sisters used to like Hot Gossip. I was only a little boy, so I didn't really think about it, but when I do lovely chicken legs like this, I think about Hot Gossip dancing on top of the pops to things like Fat Larry's Band and Zoom, just one look. But anyway, they go in there like that, one there, one there. Was there ever a deep, darker mushroom so sinister? The sinister mushroom of Trompette de la Mort, the trumpet of death. And yeah, the Grim Reaper's own mushroom. They're just in there, and you can really smell the dampness of the woods and the environment of Birchett's Green, where we're working, where we're living, what we're doing. And that's really very nice. You need to have an affinity with heat when cooking. You need to really enjoy every moment. I enjoy every moment anyway. I'm not going to put any more herbs on it either, because it's got enough herbs in the sauce. But that looks like a dish of death, doesn't it? And there it is. And a little bit of sauce in the traditional classical pan. The Grand Cuisine. The haute cuisine of Madame Rothschild herself. Now is Nonoko's absolute favourite. Now, he says there's a lot of fuss in San Francisco and a lot of fuss in Japan about tempura. I don't know. I've never been to San Francisco and I wouldn't know. I've never been to Japan. But I did go to London to his apartment and make everything that he wanted his way. So I can't argue with him. So all you tempura fanatics and fans out there who tell me, "You don't know how to make tempura." Well, I'm not making your tempura. I'm making it for somebody else who wants it his way. So that's what I've got to do. Let's move my bell and have a slurp of tea. The thing about the Bois Bourdrain is it's very, very versatile. And because it's so versatile, it's sweet and sour. It suits his palate really, really nicely. So we'll serve that alongside the tempura. We'll just test a bit. It should be light and airy, of course, and I've got to cook it fast. And, I don't want it to stick to the bottom of the pan. So I've got to be very careful because I don't have a fryer in the kitchen. This could fall off the side, and that could be the end of the world. And the idea is it's nice and airy. And this should be nice and airy. I don't have a fat fryer in the kitchen because it stinks. You can smell it at the front door. And when I go out to a pub, which is rare these days because I'm always in my own pub, why would I go to another pub? I wouldn't. I want to be here in this pub, the Little Crown. But anyway, when I get to a pub or a restaurant, if I can smell the fryer, I get back in the car. Oh, that's enough. You know how I know it's enough? Because everything is floating. Here's the salt. Sound.
When did you realise that you wanted to be a chef?
8 years old. I was 8 years old when I wanted to be a chef, and I knew it straight away. I had mumps. I was on the couch at home in London, Croydon, Greater London. I've got a load of sisters, loads of them. They're lovely, but I don't see them because they're all too busy. And life's like that. I was on the couch. We had one of them Super Sir gas things that you press to get heat from, and we had a clunky old TV in the corner, which actually, thinking back, was probably a pretty good TV. But now it'd be like, ooh, is that a TV with big buttons and going clunk, clunk, clunk every time you change the channel? And on there, at 1 o'clock, I think it went like this. Pipkins, and then Mr. Ben, which is what was my epiphany.
Mr. Ben went for a walk. His walk took him to a special costume shop.
One day, Mr. Ben walked down his street from number 10 to the shop, went in the shop, and said to the shopkeeper, who magically appeared, said, what do you want to be today, Mr. Ben? And Mr. Ben said, I'm going to be a chef. And off he went to the palace of the princess when he went through the mirror or the changing room, and he was in a chef's outfit. And basically what he did, he made her eat. Because the princess lived in a huge castle and all the people from around and about used to come to try with their food to make the princess eat. And the king's daughter, the princess, would not eat. And what happened was Mr. Ben arrived and he got her to eat. Now the person who got her to eat was going to marry her, but Mr. Ben doesn't hang around because he does lots of other things when he's, getting dressed up, fighting dragons and all sorts of things. But he made everybody happy in the courts and everyone was lovely and the king thanked him and he went back to the shop and he went back to his house. And I thought, wow, he made that unhappy girl eat. And it was at that point my dad, because I was off school with mum, so I looked like this. For 2 weeks. I looked like that. And I was very ill. I was under a blanket because we didn't have quilts. Quilts are posh. Duvet. And he bought me this bowl of stew and dumplings. And I must have been getting better because I ate the bloody lot. Yummy. I can smell it now, even if I cast my mind back now. I can see it really clearly. The dumplings were light and fluffy. Definitely a Torah was used because I can see the packet in the kitchen. And it would definitely been Delia Smith cookery book. She would have had a red jumper on and there would have been a black bit saying Delia's Complete Cookery. And she would have looked really lovely. I really like Delia. I used to look at her and think, well, no, I didn't think mummy, but I did think she's nice, warm, cuddly, Delia. Anyway, my dad used to cook all her stuff. And this beef stew and dumplings was amazing, and they were like big fat boiled potatoes in it, and if you broke them with your fork just ever so gently, they seemed to crush into the thick, unctuous sauce with the sweet carrots and the savoury meat. And it must have been good meat because I can still smell the aroma of that meat today. And I felt instantly rejuvenated once I'd eaten that bowl. And that was when I realised I was going to be a chef because of Mr. Ben and my dad's cooking when I was sick with mum's on the couch with the super stir cooker and the clunky TV. And that's why I became a chef. And if you don't listen, you don't learn. So the capacity to listen is what it's all about. And then you must develop a kind of academic sort of, even if you're not like me, you just buy loads of books and you just look at the pictures if you can't read, and it all goes in to the subconscious. And as it all goes in, it all then starts radiating out in a fine culinary energy, and it permeates through the universe, and then the universe sends back, you're a chef. You're going to be a good one too. And I was like, when I heard that for the first time, I thought, wow, I'm going to be a really good chef. When I heard that, I thought, yeah. And then a little voice said down here, no, you're not. No, you're not. I thought, what do you mean? You'll never be good. You've got to keep trying. You've got to keep having a go. Because there's so many things that happen in a day. You know, you wake up with a headache and you think, as you pull your socks on, as you pull your culinary trousers on, you might have flu, you might have a cold. You've got to go into work, you've got to do it. You can't let anyone down. You've got to push yourself, drive yourself through. You've got to work hard. And then you become addicted to it. And then that becomes like a drug. That feeling of exhaustion, that arduous grind of kitchen duties becomes so pleasurable. It's like, ooh, the biggest kick, the biggest high, the greatest high you can imagine. The love of cooking. And I don't just like cooking, I love cooking. I love it with all my heart. I stood many a night on a Saturday night with just 50p in the till, in the darkness, no one came. You can't really just be a good chef by doing 40 hours a week and thinking, I need to get out on the weekend. You've got to work the weekend. you.